So today I'd like to talk about battle partners and the very, very strict access there is to receive boxes in Japan. For example, on release day morning, I went to the department store. They open at 10 o'clock. I always get a box on release day morning there as long as I queue up 15 minutes before they open up. There's about 30 to 50 people in front of me, sometimes 5, sometimes 50. But I always get a box because I have about 180 boxes to 200 boxes every single release day for the last year and a half. And I know this because I speak to the staff, so I know how much stock they get roughly, and so on and so forth. However, this release day for battle partners, we queued up, and then when they opened the doors, and then we queued up, and then they left us from 10 to 10:30 for 30 minutes just standing in the queue. There's about 300 to 400 people. That's about 3 times more than normal. Normally 100 people. It was 3, but when I went back later, there was a number which said 500. So I think there were 500 people that actually queued up. But I'm kind of jumping the gun on the story a little bit. Once we actually got to the counter, they gave us a choice of each product, and then they gave us a raffle ticket. So there was like 9 products, right? So you basically took a ticket with some sleeves, or for like a starter deck box, or a lily box, or an N box, or battle partners box with a promo code. And we all took those tickets, and then they put them in a box. They split them off, put them in a box, and we kept the other tickets for ourselves. And then from there, we were told to come back at 12 noon, and it was 10:30 in the morning. From 12 noon until 8 p.m. you could then come back, and there would be 9 whiteboards with the winning lottery tickets on each board. Then you'd go to each board and pull off the ticket with the sticky tape and attach it to your winning ticket, matching the numbers up if your number was listed. And then you could win, which means you could pay for your product. Now, let me put this into perspective. The starter deck, which was 2,200 yen, they had 40, and there was 500 people that turned up. This is just one department store. Now, when we came back at 12 o'clock, because I went with one of my buddies, and he's not into Pokemon, he's getting into sports cards, so he said, okay, I'll come along, and maybe I'll get into Pokemon. So I said, okay, come along, and we can get a box. I didn't know they were going to do this lottery system, but anyway, we did. So we came back at 12, and then they said, we're not ready. I'm so sorry. Can you come back at 2? So we came back at 2, and at 2:15 they were ready, and then people started picking their stuff up, and I won 2 large starter decks and a pack of sleeves. Okay, it was crazy. So the Pokemon company trying to give out these boxes to people by lottery, or just giving out the boxes at the counter smoothly. 4 hours of my life not to even get a box, whereas I could have gone to the counter and they could have told me you don't get a box. And if they limit it to 1 person per box, okay, some people are going to play the system, they're going to bring their friends, or they're going to do something, but it still works at 1 person per box. And you find out in 10 seconds or 15 seconds they have a box, they don't have a box, right? What I find really disappointing is how come a Japanese distributor can send all of their stock to a Japanese supplier who can send it all overseas, and that's okay, but Japanese people got to queue up for 5 hours to find out even if they get 1 box. Okay, just let's not make it that complicated. Let's make it a little bit just simple, super easy. You go to the convenience store, if they got a box and they let you buy a box, you buy a box. If they got it at the department store, you buy a box, you buy a box, right? And then just print more and just give all the allocation to the department store, because the department store isn't gonna sell it overseas. Am I making a big mistake here? If you give 10,000 boxes to the department store, are they gonna sell it overseas? Is a Japanese department store going to have the nerve and the know-how to ship that out the back door to overseas sales? No, I don't think so. So what is actually going on here exactly? Pokemon Company could sort this out, in my opinion, very easily. All allocations go to Japanese department stores or electronic stores, and they are given explicit instructions that this is not for overseas. When they give them instructions that they can't release it at 9 a.m, they have to do it at 9:30, these guys are strict as hell in Japan. So this is going to distributors and then to suppliers and then overseas. Why is it going to the suppliers? Why can't the distributors distribute directly to the department stores or the electronic stores? So, in my opinion, there is definitely a very interesting triangle of arbitration going on. Which benefits who? Question mark. Right? So it's an interesting thing, and I mean, at the end of the day, I'm in Japan, so my dog's in the game to be able to go to the department store and buy it at retail. And if you're overseas and you want to buy from a sub-supplier at 2 times retail rather than 4 times retail, because there was loads of stock in Japan but there's not loads of stocks overseas, then okay, you have a dog in a different game. So it's horses for courses, but it kind of rings a little bit hollow that the Pokemon Company Japan wants to get boxes into the hands of Japanese collectors or people living in Japan, but then doesn't do something so obvious than giving department stores thousands of boxes allocation, knowing fair well that they are not going to sell it overseas. It's just, in my opinion, it's just a little bit hollow. So that's my rant from the pod. Rant from Japan, because I can't get boxes of battle partners. I can get loose packs, and I'm pretty lucky with loose packs, but I can't get boxes. So if you did, great for you, and bye from Japan.